Oh my goodness, here we are again. I am so excited. I actually get to catch up, not just with, do you know what? I'm actually going to see Jesse in a couple of weeks' time. I am so, actually, it's less than that. It's like a week from
Less,
now.
yeah.
I get to catch up with Jesse in person. So that's super excited all the way in the US. But what's super exciting right now is the fact that Sue and I actually see each other quite often because we live in the same city in New Zealand except we're both English. Like, it's so much fun. So I met Sue, I don't know, about 6 months ago through the Christian Writers Group. I never thought I was a writer, but clearly, Sue, this is where we are. And it has been such
Mm,
a joy to get to know another English lady who's come all the way from the other side of the world. And I love your full book
mm,
because it talks a little bit about England and moving and how that all is, which is great. And I know we're not going to have that full chapter today. Well, you've got a chapter today. But it has been such a joy to meet you. It's been such a joy to give you a hug. It's been such a joy to, nut things out as we do as women.
mm, mm,
And we're
mm,
very grateful that you went. And I said,
mm,
"Oh, Sue, you know what? Hey, Christian writers, would you like to come and join this crazy Beauty for Ashes anthology?" And you were brave enough to say yes. I'm celebrating you for saying yes, jumping in, and coming in with these crazy people you had no idea who they were. And so, welcome, welcome. Just actually out of interest, are
mm.
you enjoying the journey?
Yes, I really am.
Great.
I like a challenge, and I like to do new things, and yeah,
Right.
stretch myself a bit. Mm.
Yeah, do you ever feel like I feel like this journey for us at this point is stretching me like, sometimes it's a little bit like, whoa, I'm a little bit out my comfort zone, but it's been fun, eh?
I don't really feel that it's outside my comfort
Well, there
zone
you go.
yet. Not
Perfect.
yet.
Great,
Well,
great.
We'll
well,
see how the interview goes,
yeah, I was
shall
gonna
we?
say, just wait. We'll get you out there. But yeah, I wanna jump in and just say like yes, like in this like to let people know why we're even here. We're interviewing Sue because she's a part of this amazing anthology, Beauty for Ashes. And yeah, we're going to ask you some great questions about what you wrote. I mean, she's one of
Sure.
20 authors who came together for a year with me and Sally. I'm Jesse. I run Above the Sun and I help writers create their stories from inspiration to publication. And yeah, we had this fun idea to do 20 raw, real, redemptive stories of beauty from ashes and how God works in our lives. And Sue submitted her chapter. We're about 4 or 5 months in, and so we're now interviewing about it, and we're moving into the editing phase soon, and all the marketing and all that fun stuff. But yeah, Sue, thank you for just being on this journey with us. We're excited to ask you these questions. I'll just say, yeah, I'm the main editor, so I've dug deeper into your story than Sally has, but it is such a wonderful contribution. I know people are going to love reading it. We're going to ask you a little bit about it. But obviously, they can't we can't dig in fully, but I love for me, like you just you did a really good job of showing that your past of like you find like you experience God as your earthly father, which is so common to a lot of us. And
Mhm.
that was, all the assumptions, and you're able to challenge people, you're challenging people on like, well, that's can cause some pain in some ways. And you show how your healing is a process, a journey, which is amazing, not a single moment. You're honest about your offenses and impatience sometimes with the Lord, which is beautifully refreshing, very grounding. And yeah, I love your steadfastness, and I know that many people are talking about just their journey of healing, but also the beauty part of it. But you have a unique story that shows that kind of that longevity of it, which is such a great part of this. And so, welcome. We're gonna let you talk in a little bit here. So, welcome. And we love to start with the first question, which is just kind of like
Mm,
talk about yourself. What do you love about yourself? Love about who you are, and love
mm,
about kind of what you write, even though I know the subject matter was challenging, but just kind of what do you love about
mm,
that whole you and
mm,
and your writing? Yeah.
mm. Well, I love the fact that when I was 13, the Lord brought me to New Zealand for the first time, kicking and screaming it was then. I didn't want to come. I was quite happy where I was. Um, and it took me a long time to settle in. I lived here for 3 years in my teens, and during that time, came into a deeper knowledge of the Lord. It's just been a gradual unfolding over the years, I guess. Um, and then after 3 years, my mother took us back to England, and then I came out again in 2000. And the extraordinary thing about coming out in 2000 was I came with my husband and two young children, and we had two main prayers. One, that my husband would find employment, which he couldn't in England, and two, that we would find a church quickly where we could grow and serve. And within a month, those prayers had been answered. And yeah,
Mhm.
fantastic. We settled into a fantastic little church down in Wainuiomata near Wellington. And really, God gave me opportunities to grow and to serve in ways I'd never known before. So that's had a huge impact on my life. But just being able to serve the Lord in simple ways, um, and gradually getting more challenging, but equally as enjoyable. And yeah, just really, God's been showing me so much over the years, you know. It's definitely been a process of transformation, and healing. Yep.
I love that. I love your honesty around that it's a process. That for
Mm,
many of us, while
mm,
God absolutely can come in and you hear clearly from him, or he can give you a vision, or whatever it might be,
mm,
the it's actually not about the destination. It's actually
Mhm.
about the journey
mm.
and the process.
Journey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I think for you,
that's
Sue,
right.
what you've just said, which is so beautiful, is there's been a gradual unfolding. What I love about God, and I know we've got a bit of your story about, you and I, actually, I was blessed to have an amazing father, but it's very hard sometimes if our fathers, physical fathers, haven't represented our spiritual father. It can cause barriers.
Mm,
But I love how God
mm,
just gently, he's so gentle and he's so kind. He never rushes. And so you had 3 years of just, who is this God? Oh, what's happening here? Oh, that's who that's who you are. And then you came back, and you came back with a husband and a family, but you came back knowing that he was with you, he was for you. And you could pray and say, okay, God, come on, you've brought us all the other side of the world without family, without all of this, Lord. Oh, come on. These
mm,
we need to have income. So, Lord, and we need to have community.
mm,
I love that
mm,
message because we don't do life alone.
mm,
We have our personal relationship with him, but then we need to be part of something bigger. And I love the
mm,
fact that you're like, God, can we come and be somewhere where we can serve? And the gift
mm,
of giving always gives back because we can never outgive the best giver,
mm.
which is God.
That's
I
right.
love
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So kind of
Mm,
that sort of leads me on to, and thank you, Jesse, for opening that up around love. And we ask about life, so Life.
mm,
So the next one is insight. So kind of a little bit more on your book side, because we want to know what's in the chapter. People
mm,
listening to this will be like, oh,
mm,
it's exciting. Yeah,
mm,
I had a dad that wasn't that
mm,
brilliant for me, or I found it hard, or, I haven't had this, God's just suddenly appeared and everything's changed experience, because for you,
mm.
it's gentle. So what insights are you sharing in your book that will be helpful for people who can maybe relate to some of this journey?
Well, as you've mentioned, firstly, I suppose it started with God just showing me that I saw him as my earthly father, that I saw him as distant, as authoritarian, and that really coloured everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know him for who he was.
Hmm.
And when that thought dropped into my mind, which I truly believe was God-given, um, it changed everything really because I never really had much of a close relationship with my own earthly father, although he loved me in his way. It's true, he loved me in his way. Um, but knowing that God just loved me and totally wanted the best for me, and being able to have confidence in him just changed the way I saw everything, really. I
Yeah.
was I could start giving things over to him, whereas before, I suppose it I suppose what I'm trying to say is it affected trust in a very positive way. I was able to trust him more, whereas I didn't really trust my own dad with my heart.
Yeah.
Mm.
I love that. I'm taking notes. Sorry, did you want to share some more?
Oh, sure. Um, so that would be the first insight, and then just gradually becoming aware that there were things in my past that I needed healing from, and I hadn't had anything, well, I say major, like perhaps some of the other people have in their chapters. I hadn't been abused as a child or, anything what I'd say was major, and yet I suppose I was I was a very sensitive child, and I'm a sensitive adult, really, which has pros and cons. And I've completely lost my train of thought where I was
That's
going.
okay.
Sorry.
I'm going to bring you back because we can do that here. This is the joy of being in
Oh no, isn't
conversation with
editing
each other.
wonderful?
Yeah, I love him. And actually, there was on a call the other day, and I was like, okay, I've lost it. And Jesse
Mm.
thankfully just picked up and ran with it. So it happens to the best of
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah,
But that's
yeah,
actually
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the joy.
Okay, I'm
You back?
yeah, yeah. I've got I've got it now. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, but what I've done is I've just told my story. I've been real about what happened to me, the hurts that I had, and really, um, I've always likened. We all have a tendency to bury our hurts. We don't want to look at them. They're painful, and it's
Sure,
as
sure.
if God showed me once that it's like you sweep all the hurts and problems under this rug in the middle of the room, and before you know it, it's like a big mountain that really you just trip over all the time. And at some point we need to open ourselves up and let the Lord touch those painful places. And sometimes that can be a painful process. But the amazing thing with God is that because we have the Holy Spirit, who's also known as the Comforter with a capital C, you're not going through the hurt and the pain alone. There's it's hard to explain to anyone who hasn't experienced, but there's a comfort within that. Just like I've known bereavement,
Hmm.
but the Lord was with me, comforting me through that. Didn't stop me crying because the person was gone. But underneath it all, the Lord was there carrying me.
I love that.
I suppose that's the way
Yeah,
I can explain.
I actually think one of the gold or the gold threads that you bring as insight is introducing people to the Comforter, to the Holy Spirit.
Hmm.
And I love the fact that your chapter is really honest about, your experience of an earthly father maybe had blocked you from understanding who the heavenly father was. And I love the fact that there's the
Definitely.
that you've brought up right now is about trust. You could trust him with your heart. You could trust him. And you know what I
Mm,
love about your analogy around the carpet? And as English
mm,
people, our culture is, you know, keep calm and carry on. Like hide all that stuff, brush it under the carpet. Oh no, children should be seen and not heard. All that kind of stuff
mm,
is part
mm,
of our
mm, mm,
culture of hiding, burying, and looking good on the
mm.
surface, regardless of what's going on inside
Stiff,
or behind
stiff
you.
upper lip, Sally.
That's it. That's the one.
Stiff
But
upper lip.
what you
Yeah.
find in this is you've in that hiding process, you found God. You found his tenderness. You found his compassion, and you've learned, you've realized as you've given him a little bit back and say, God, I'm really struggling with this. He's taken that away and blessed you with what Jesus has, all of heaven. And so
Mm,
peace,
mm, mm,
peace, interesting that it's peace,
mm,
P-E-A-C-E, by
mm,
P-E-A-C-E. He has given you everything that you need along your journey. And that leads me to freedom.
mm.
So
Can I
somebody,
can I just say one thing as
yeah,
well? I think as humans, it's a very natural thing. Even though we're Christians and we believe that Jesus has covered our sin, we often still try to cover it ourselves. You
Mm.
know, we might be ashamed, we might need to hide it away. But the truth is if we can open ourselves up to his healing light, then it allows us to accept his covering, to really accept his covering.
and that's
Yeah.
the freedom. So
Mhm.
you've gone into the freedom.
Oh,
That's all right.
okay.
Well done.
That's great. We're tracking together, Sue. So
Mm,
that's
mm.
exciting.
Good eye, good
Um,
eye.
because you're right. It's the
Mm,
and the I think the beauty is that you're 100% right. Religion will tell you, because it's rules and regulations, just like our upbringing. Religion will be a good person, do this, do that, do
mm,
everything in your own strength because you want to do something for God, or you actually, the reason you're doing it is because you want God to like you and do some stuff for you. But that's actually not true. It's he initiates and we respond. So the Holy Spirit, the Comforter, was pouring into you so that you could come. And that was God initiating. He was calling you home. And so he initiates in this season and he cleans up the mess, not us. So we never have to reveal anything to anybody else because he works in us. And on the outside, nothing looks any different, but he's worked it through. So my question is around freedom. Is somebody reading your chapter who may not have had massive trauma, who may have just been a lovely, beautiful Christian or whatever, and I'm not knocking anyone in that space. What freedom are they going to have at the end of each reading your chapter that they maybe didn't have at the beginning? So we don't need to hear too much more about the story, but what freedom
no.
are they going to get, do you think, or what you hope they're going to get from reading your story?
Well, I think it all depends on what their response is to God for themselves. I
Mm,
don't think I've got anything to give other than to point the way in some measure.
good, good.
Can
Yeah.
I can point the way towards the Lord, towards the Holy Spirit, towards towards what I found
Yeah,
in my journey by um, drawing closer to God.
yeah,
So to encourage, I suppose it's encouraging others to take a step closer to God, whether or not they've already made a commitment as a Christian or not, or whether they're still seeking.
yeah.
I mean, and
That
that reminds me, like, Sue, it's like, I mean, like, I believe you do more than that. But even with that, what you just say is that there's one of my favorite books was a book called The Final Quest from Rick Joyner, and I think it was Rick Joyner. I think it was somebody. Anyway, The Final Quest. Forget who it was, but the
Mm,
imagery he kind of had this kind of fictional kind of imagery that was
mm,
inspired, and he had there's this one scene where these people are trying to climb the mountain to get to God, essentially, and
mm, mm,
this is a real thing, like in the fictional thing. It was a good thing, is what I'm trying to say. And there's people on there that were not they were not up the mountain, but they were helping people get up the mountain, right? Is helping, and he's like, you feel sad in some ways, but no, they're doing the best they can, and
mm.
actually using like they're pulling people out of the mud and the mess. I believe you do way more than that, but still, that's still a very noble thing of like actually, you know. helping people on the journey. I mean, like my analogy is you build a well. You've went through a desert, went through the ashes season, and you built a well in that, and you say, hey, whoever's going through that same thing, hey, I built a well back there for you. You can taste of that, and I just feel that it's very, very noble. So
I didn't think of it like that.
yeah,
It's quite beautiful. Hmm.
See, isn't he good to have around? Like,
yeah,
oh,
you can keep me around.
thanks,
Mm,
Jesse.
mm,
Bring it
mm,
on.
mm.
And I love the fact that you're not the fixer. It's him
No,
that does
Yeah.
the work. And everything
I
you've
can't
shared.
fix a darn thing.
So, everything that you've shared is pointing back to the Creator, our Father,
Mm,
is pointing to the people who actually can help us, who actually have our best interests at heart with no hidden agendas. And all of us, we're here to
mm,
help, but we're not, as Jesse said, and I love that analogy, Jesse, of climbing the mountain, and it's messy and it's dirty and it's like
Yeah.
it gets under your fingernails, like it is. And life is messy. It is not just like,
mm.
oh, la, 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 look
That's
at
right.
me. Everything's sorted. Because that's an image that I had
Mm,
of
mm,
Christians, was that they were
mm,
clean and tidy and everything was sorted. And when I came into this journey about 8 years ago, I realized that was absolute rubbish, that this is
yep.
messy and that we need each other.
Mm,
I need people ahead
absolutely.
of me to show me the way. And
Absolutely.
I need to be that person to say, hey,
Yep.
come on, let's go and have some fun.
Absolutely.
So that's
Mm,
beautiful.
mm, mm,
Thank you, team, for that. And then the last kind of question,
mm,
which kind of we're leading into with helping each other and climbing mountains. And I've got this
mm.
well for you, come and drink from it because it's actually his well that he's
Yes.
given you so that you can help
Mm,
others drink from that water. And
mm,
so the last question is about relationship ultimately, which we've been
mm.
talking about the whole way through. And
Yeah.
it's about engagement. How does engaging with him and putting him first and
Mm,
leaning into him, as you say, and getting into that water and getting in, how does that help you as a person? But then also, how does that affect the people around you or your relationships around you? What have you seen has
mm.
been the beauty from the ashes in your relational space?
I could share a bit of a story
Yeah,
about something that
Love it.
happened.
go
Uh,
for it.
it's quite a while ago now. It's probably about 20 years ago. We were at home, and I don't know what it was, but it just seemed like every evening my husband would start having a go at me over something. Whether I started it or not, I don't know. Whether I don't know who started it, but all I know it was ning, 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 ning. And I just hate that kind of thing. I just hate it so much. And I was, in it. And this went on for quite a while. And one evening, I thought, I'm just going to get up. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go down to the bedroom. And I went down to the bedroom and I'll never forget it. I prostrated myself on the floor and cried out to God to actually to change my husband. And every night when it started, I'd get up and I swear he didn't even know I'd gone because I was sort of round the corner in the computer alcove. And I'd get down to the bedroom and I'd cry out to God. And after a few nights of doing this, God very gently said to me, and what about you, Sue?
Love that.
Very gently, but what about you? And obviously, the point being, well, actually, Sue, there's quite a few. Yeah, Malcolm. Yeah, I'm sure I hear what you're saying. He needs to make some changes, but actually, so do you. But the way he did it was so gentle, so non-accusing, so just the truth, just the gentle truth. Um, and And that was really the start. Every night for a month, I went down there and poured my heart out to God. And it really broke something. It really did. I mean, it started to change our relationship because we weren't sort of bouncing off each other anymore. Because I just refused to engage in it. That was the start of it. And then crying out to God, he started to give me insights.
Mm. I love it. And I love the keys that you've just shared with us. Is that the
Mhm.
first thing you did is you stopped engaging with things that weren't of God. So you
Mm,
stopped engaging. I've actually
mm.
written, because I do my little, mind map as we're going. And I've
Oh, the
written,
mind map, I forgot about. Yeah.
yeah.
He's so
So I've
creative
actually written
like that,
whinging
yeah.
poms because the English
Mm.
are known as whinging poms.
Sorry?
Whinging poms.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Yeah,
I
so there you
know.
were. There you were being totally, and I love my
Mm.
English heritage. I love my English people. So please, anyone who is English, please do not take this the wrong way. But the reality is we do have a capacity to whinge. And we have a capacity to get meet, 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 meet. That is, it's kind of part of the culture. We're known as whinging poms. And so I love the fact that you said, actually, no, that's not who I am. And you removed yourself. And that in itself is massive because you broke the chain
Mm.
on the cycle of neat, 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 neat. Because if there's nobody to neat, neat to, there's only one
Yes.
of you. So that broke the
Oh,
cycle.
not only,
And
not only,
then
oh,
you
sorry.
went,
I was,
just let me finish. I'll be 1 second and then you can speak.
yeah,
Then what you did was you
that's all right.
went to God and you surrendered to Him.
Mm.
And admittedly, it does make me laugh. Really makes me
Yeah.
laugh. 'Cause, you're like, actually, God, could you change my husband?
I
Like,
know.
can you give me an upgrade? Like, enough's enough. I can't do this anymore. And you may have shared that with him a few times. And then he said, what about your part in this? And every time
Mm.
I have got grumpy,
Mm.
every time something, I'm like, oh, I can't believe this. I can't believe that. And I've got stroppy. God has said,
Mm. Mm.
so are you ready for your upgrade? I'm like, what? What do you mean? It's got nothing to do with me. Like, I'm the one that's stroppy. And he goes, are you ready for your upgrade? I'm like, maybe,
Mm.
because I'm still
Mm.
stroppy.
Mm.
And he says,
Mm.
how have you thought
Mm.
about? Have you considered? And so I love the fact that he changed, you
Mm.
lent into him and he gave you what you needed to start
Mm.
moving in the heavenly realms,
Mm.
which then affected your
Mm.
relationship in the earthly realms. And so that's a real joy. And I
Mm.
know
Mm.
you and
Definitely.
your husband have an amazing marriage and an amazing relationship. So how beautiful is that? And the others, I've got a very quick story because it's funny. Another lady I know,
Go on then.
I met in a church recently, and I hadn't seen her since she looked after my kids when they were at kindergarten and chatting away. And she said, do you know, I ended up at this church because I was born in another church. I did 19 years in this other church. And then this pastor came. And I really didn't, and I prayed. I prayed for 2 years, Sally, that God would get rid of that pastor. Like I didn't like him. God, can you get rid of that pastor? And she said, it's so funny. She said, no. He said, no, you go and hang out in this place. So she said, he didn't get rid of the pastor. He got rid of me out of that church. I howled with laughter as she shared that story because when we point the finger, there's one finger towards the person,
Mm.
but there's three, pointing back
Exactly.
at us. And actually,
Yeah.
often when we point the finger, there's a
Mm.
thumb showing us the right way. Because when we point, our thumb often goes up, and that's
That's
actually where
right.
we're supposed
That's
to be.
true.
So, and
That's
of
true.
course, when we
Yeah.
go up, what happens is the finger comes away and it actually becomes a thumbs up.
Mm.
So isn't it funny how
Mm.
you've just shared that? And
Mm.
that is about we build our relationship with him and then it goes out from there. Sue, I'm going to hand over to Jesse
Mm.
because he does
Mm.
the like wrappy uppy, and I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
he may want to ask some more
Okay.
questions. But
Happy,
I
happy.
just want to say thank you. I have loved the enlightenment of this journey, and I'm really looking forward to people reading your chapter. Me too, to get even more treasure and more gold out of what you've shared.
Mhm.
All yours, Jesse.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I will, yeah, I'll wrap it up and we'll give you some ability to add a few more things there, Sue, to kind of final words. But it just came to me another image. And again, this is not necessarily you, but I feel like it's the spirit of the project. But it's what and Sally said the whole thumbs up thing. It reminds me of this meme I saw on the internet where it has like five generations, and it has the first generation is like yelling at the next generation, saying "I hate you," and then the next generation is yelling at the next one, saying, you know, you're dumb or whatever. And the third generation is actually like holding up a shield to this kind of this like terrible stuff and giving a thumbs up to the next generation. And then that generation saying I love you to the fifth one, right? And sometimes the point of it is sometimes with lineage, all we can do is hold up that shield and give a thumbs up, you know, to people, and that's all our capacity is. That's sometimes that's enough to break the cycle, so the next generation can then
Yeah.
go on and actually give that encouragement. And so I just feel like that's the spirit of our project, and something that, you know, you've won a victory, and you're giving that thumbs up. Way more than that, but it's also a good just kind of analogy of that. So thank you for your time. We want to give people permission or invitation to follow us on this journey. We've created a mailing list at beautyforashesanthology.com, and we'll put the link as well. And I know that Sue, where she's still working on her own mailing list and website and all that fun tech stuff, which I think that will help her out with. But if you watching this video, there are people who are watching this right now and really want to follow the project, you also want to follow Sue, you can put in the there's a field down below on that page to put in Sue's name, and then that means that we'll go ahead and pass your information on to Sue as well when she does get set up for her own mailing list and stuff, so you can follow all that she is doing. So yeah, tell us just kind of final thoughts, Sue, kind of what you're doing. Yeah, any final insights
Wow.
you want to share before we
Oh,
go?
yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I went on this amazing retreat last weekend. Um, it was a healing retreat because I desperately need physical healing. I believe I've had a lot of spiritual healing and emotional healing, but now I need the physical healing, and I'm believing for that. It was just the most amazing weekend, and I'm now with a group of people. We started praying for others to be healed as well. So it's not only just about me receiving healing, but also looking out to others as well. So
Yeah.
that's quite exciting. That's a new thing. That's a very new thing because I went to the weekend just thinking about what I could get out of it for myself
Mm,
because I was so desperate for it. Sally knows. And and I hadn't thought at all about praying for others for healing, selfishly, you know. And it was really refreshing to be invited into that space as well.
great.
It's
And
great, and
actually,
it's a real journey.
and I'm quite
Just start.
excited because in that space, Sue, um,
Mm,
Kerry, who is part of this anthology, who
mm.
is coming to America with me next week, is actually coming back to New Zealand, and
I
she has
know, I
had
know.
full healing from Sue's,
Mm,
which apparently never gets done. So it's like, bring that on just quietly. And you're going to catch up with her because we'll organize something
mm.
probably. I imagine that
I'd
September.
love to. I'd absolutely love to, and it would be so great if Rosemary and Stacey can join us.
Right.
But we'll
Yeah,
see. We'll see what
they're
happens. You know.
100%. So we've got these
Mm,
beautiful
mm,
ladies who are all in Hawke's Bay.
mm.
And now we've got Kerry
Yeah,
from Australia. Australia.
yeah. I'm so
Um,
looking forward to meeting her.
yeah,
Mm.
great. Sorry, I chipped in there. I'm just
Yeah.
excited.
So yeah, it's the start of a it's the start of I know it's the start of something and I am excited about it
Good.
because as a very blunt Christian friend of mine who's no longer with us, as she once said to me, after all, Sue, it's not just about you, you know. And of course I did agree with her, even though she was terribly blunt. She was right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was she
it's
from
not all about
Yorkshire?
me.
Because this as Yorkshire lasses, we're pretty blunt. Is
No,
she from that?
she's No, she was a Kiwi and she was absolutely fantastic, and I miss her terribly. But I know she's gone ahead, to a
Yeah,
better place.
you're
Yeah.
right. Sorry, Jesse, I interrupted. Where you go?
No, that's it. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate your
Mm.
time too. Yeah, we bless you. We bless you in your journey and bless you for
And you guys?
to your healing as well, that you continue
Thank
to
you.
walk it out and
Mm.
receive it. And yeah, it's been an honor walking with you, and we'll continue to walk
Mm.
and write
Yep.
and run and do all the fun stuff. So yeah,
Yep.
you're amazing
Yep.
and
And I'll see you guys tomorrow as well with the
sounds
with the
good.
others. Hopefully
Yeah.
quite a few can make it tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We usually have a
Mm.
pretty full house. It's pretty
Okay.
good.
Well, thanks for all your work that you're doing, guys,
Yeah.
and glad you're being stretched, Sally.
Mhm. Yeah, well have a good
I'm
yeah.
sure my stretching's to come.
All right. Well, yeah, have a good one,
Mm.
Sue. And
Yeah.
yeah, thank you, Sally. And
All
have
right.
yeah, change the world.
God bless.
Okay.
Love you all.
Bless you.
Take care.
Bye.